So I figured just to go and kick back my triumphant, so to speak, return to YouTube, I'd talk about my 4 years in Boston University. So for those of you who don't know, I went to Boston University for 4 years. I studied hospitality administration with two interests being food and beverage and accounting. I had to intern in both of those just to express the quote-unquote interest or whatever they're called. And I also minored in business management. I wanted to just answer the key differences between high school experiences versus college experiences, just to give all of you guys an idea of, just what it's like to be in college. So let's start with the classes. Well, all classes in colleges that I've been to, or universities, they're all divided into lectures and discussions. Generally, the lectures are where you take all the notes and stuff like that, whereas discussions are where you guys go over homework and questions and things like that. And there are also classes where it's just one thing where it's the lecture and there's no discussion at all. Those are called independent ones. And that's pretty different from high school where it's just you have your first period, second period, third period. In college, you can basically schedule your classes however you want. And it could range from having 2 hours of class a day to 5 hours of class a day, depending, I guess, the combination of your major as well as the classes you're taking that semester. Generally, there's a lot more freedom as well when it comes to taking your classes. You can take senior level classes as a freshman so long as you finish the prerequisites for it. So it's similar to high school in that, let's say you can't take calculus without pre-calculus. So it's kind of like that, but as opposed to you having to go and take pre-calculus your junior year or your sophomore year for all you smarties. Instead, it could be you can take pre-calculus your freshman year and take calculus your sophomore year, something to that effect. So for me, I actually took a lot of senior level classes my junior year because I took summer school to get ahead. In terms of professors versus teachers, I think that's another key difference. In college, we call them professors. From my experience, generally professors are a lot nicer than teachers. Also, it does depend. If you went to a private school, it might be different for you. I went to public school, so a lot of the teachers I had in high school were just on tenure. They didn't give a shit. So I ended up having a very different experience going into college. I was terrified that all my professors would not give a shit because they can't be fired. But this is a private university I went to, so instead they did give many shits. They have office hours, so I know in high school, during lunch, if you have free time, the teacher's not leaving school for whatever reason, you can go into the classroom and ask them questions. It's kind of like that with office hours, which is better and worse. It's better in that they have a set time that you are guaranteed to find them no matter what. And you can come in and talk to them for help, and those office hours are specifically set aside for you to talk to them. The bad news is if, let's say, you have class during their scheduled office hours, it becomes a lot harder to reach out to them. It's like a wild duck chase. But generally, emailing the professors and contacting them, it was a lot easier than trying to hunt down my teachers in high school. Clubs, I have a lot of experience with them from college, not so much high school, unfortunately. But I guess the baseline of what I can say is that for clubs, it's the same jizz, events and fundraisers and there's officers and board positions and all that stuff. I'd say a lot of the clubs I've noticed, the general membership rate of clubs in college versus high school, it's a lot lower. Very few people stay inclined to stay as a general member if they're not an officer. And I don't know if it's just in Boston University, but that's what I've noticed a lot in almost every club I've been an officer in. We have 5 general members. Sports and athletics, I don't know too much about those because I myself have never done them in college. I've only ever done them in high school. I know that generally speaking, they don't count for extra credits. So, but I know a lot of the people who do sports, they're doing it because it's their scholarship and the school's giving them money for it. And if I remember correctly, it is a pretty substantial time commitment. I remember one of my friends had to spend an entire summer in Barcelona playing rugby. And that was pretty intense. She lost an entire summer just to playing rugby for BU. And one of my friends who's in the BU hockey team, she has to go and schedule her classes around her practices, which means that she's very limited in the classes she's allowed to take. So I'd say going into college, if you don't have to do athletics, I'd say don't do them just because, they take up a lot of time. And if you're not doing it for a scholarship, then there's really no point to do them. If you like playing a sport, just do it recreationally. You don't have to be a part of a team for it to, fulfill you. I guess another thing is that I love about college is in terms of the classes you can take are the majors. So every major has a huge upside and downside. The upside would be that you get to take classes about things you're actually interested in when you're taking the major specific classes. The downside is every major comes with general requirements and it's basically high school all over again. I had to take a writing class. No, I had to take 2 writing classes, a social science, a humanities, BARF, and a ton of unnecessary math classes for my major. And I just remember it just sucked. Like my first 2 years of college, class-wise, it was just very boring and uneventful. For me, in particular, like the biggest difference for college versus high school would probably be just the people. In high school, I know that a lot of people, they don't necessarily have social lives except through clubs and stuff, activities like that. I feel like in college, clubs are a good platform to meet people at first, but then you really branch into your own groups of friends. I actually made a lot of my friends through a combination of classes as well as clubs, and I'm pretty happy with like the groups of friends I have. Like I have like my fellow Taiwanese people, then I have like my hospitality major people, and then I have like the people, like my friends in the business school because I minored in business. Being able to be in contact with so many people at once and being able to like, have your friends just a text away because, you just text them and you can just hit them up. It's so convenient compared to high school where like I had zero social life because I lived too far away from everyone. And I guess like the second most impactful thing for me was just housing situations. I'd say like comparing the idea of living in a dorm versus living in the comfort of your own home, it's a steep difference. Like having to share spaces with other people, having to go and, like your own bathroom, you don't have that typically for a large period of time. Your own kitchen, you'd be lucky to have a kitchen your like freshman year, even if it means you have to share it with an entire house of people. So I guess the idea of having to share your own privacy with others, it is something that I had to struggle a lot with throughout all of college. My name is Fred Chang, formerly known as Pima Sukivana, and these were some of just the general differences between living in college versus going to high school. Hopefully you learned a lot from this, and hopefully it gave you some insight of what it's like to be in a private university versus a public high school. Bye!